And I failed, every day I fail like 10 times, 11 times before I achieve something and nobody knows about it. That's a cool thing. You have to fail to get into something, so don't give up.
Thank you very much for joining us today. It's really an honor. I wanted to start right at the beginning.
Let me first check my voice is, can you hear me? I usually speak very soft, my wife complains.
Yeah, I wanted to start right at the beginning. You've spoken a bit about your childhood and your upbringing in previous interviews, and especially the impact that your mum had on your life. At any point during your early days, what was it that made you realise that this was the path that you wanted to follow?
I think my dad. My dad was a conductor, composer, arranger. When he passed away, I started playing the studios 2 years after he died. And there were only good things about my dad, which people told, you know. I didn't have a job, your dad made me sit and get the money, including, you know, world-class musicians like A.R Rahman, who shared this with me 6 months back. He said, I was studying, your dad made me sit and get money for my college. So these things actually inspired me as a human being, that he did something good, so let me follow that. And my mom stressed that I should come.
Thank you. And of course then you went on to get a scholarship at Trinity College London, you graduated.
No, I didn't. So I studied Trinity College stuff in Chennai. So after one of the examinations, I got a scholarship to study that. And most of my studies were back in Chennai from independent teachers who were lovely. And that's the knowledge which every musician in Chennai, that's one of the reasons why I started the KM Music Conservatory, so that what I never got, other kids in Chennai could get that, you know, playing Western classical and composing. And stuff.
But obviously during your time studying Western classical music, even in Chennai, do you think that learning from that world of Western music was important to you? And are there any lessons from that Western training that you still keep close by with you today?
Being a film composer, I think Western classical actually helps a lot, because my father, as I go back to my father, he was an arranger, and he was the only one who knew about chords and stuff those days. Composers used to have Indian classical knowledge, so they would compose a rag-based tune, and he would get the chords on arrangement of strings and everything. He used to do that. And so that's absolutely necessary for film. You know, film needs a lot of textures, and it needs harmonies. It needs so many different techniques from the West, of Western classical traditions. And also mingling, if you take Indian classical and Western classical, when you mix it, there's ecstasy, which we all see, you know, any harmony which is. So those are the techniques I kind of learned from Western classical. To be organized, to give notes to different parts, and all those things. Though my easy way to do things is Sarigamapa. So to decode a melody, it's always easy for me to go like da 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 sagamapa gama re sa ne sagamapa. So I can change this to any key very easily. In Western classical, you can't do that. You have to go transpose that stuff. Right. So you can just have to change. No, it's in B, it's in D, it's in F, it's in F sharp. So everything shifts. So yeah, it's a good technique too.
And you have experimented a lot with combining the two and using both in your work. How much of that was inspiration? How much of that was research? And is there any kind of unexpected sources of inspiration that you've used in your work that might surprise some of us?
Yeah, actually, if you look at my travel of music, I was watching my dad do music, and then I was playing in the studios, and at an age of 12 or something, 12 to 22, and it was so boring for me, you know, because there's no games, no friends, nothing. It's all with working with old men, and so my only outing mentally was to listen to Western composers, Western bands, African music, Chinese music, Arabic music, and if you take Bulgarian music. So if you find my sources are all from everywhere. So I never used to think that it's a bad thing to borrow technique. If you look at the song from Bombay, the Gumsana Gumsana Picture, it's very Bulgarian, but then it's got Tamil words, it's got Hindi words, and it also has Indian. So I never dissect or try to explain to myself what I'm doing. If it feels good, I do. So again, I respect all the cultures, and I respect all the people who come in when I meet them and I see them in the airport. And it's fascinating to appreciate different cultures. It is complementing, and that changes your outlook on your creativity too. Because you respect the culture, you also be respectful in how you use it in your own.
And in things like Bombay Dreams and the stage production for Lord of the Rings, when you've worked with people like Andrew Lloyd Webber, has there ever been a difference when you're catering for the South Asian audience versus when you've made things that have gone across the world stage? Or do you always approach it with the same mindset?
I think that's one of the first times I felt like fish out of water, because my creativity used to be in my studio. It's a home studio where I could fail 1,000 times and nobody would know. But once it comes, you come out of that and then you come to London, sitting in front of Andrew Lloyd Webber, and he's been very kind, very encouraging. But for me, theatre was a completely different ballgame. I managed it, but I feel like now I could do a better job, because I'm more a performer now. At least I try to be a better performer rather than sitting in front of the keyboard and just hiding myself. Yeah, so.
And you've often described yourself as an introvert in the past. So what was it that inspired that push into theatre?
So one definitely was Bombay Dreams, and then Lord of the Rings, and then working with the supergroup with Mick Jagger, Damon Marley, and Dave Stewart, all these people. So then I was one of the members of the band, Super Heavy, and we were all hanging out in Henson Studios in 2008. So I would have Dave Stewart standing in front of my keyboard. A.R, compose a tune now. I said, I'd never do that. I put headphones on secretly, I compose, and then I listen to it back, edit that stuff, and it used to be that. And so I think that experience also changed a lot. Like, oh, we can actually compose in front of people, and it's fine, even if you go wrong. So all that stuff, yeah.
And at the level that you're at now, you're one of the world's most commercially successful artists. How difficult is it to balance the commercial requests that you get from producers, actors, directors, and staying true to the authentic beliefs and your core principles? How do you ensure that you don't lose those core motivators when you are creating things that go across the world?
It's terrifying, actually. Like, you want to drive, again, I would say, bring back the respect of every different audience. That I know that every audience has a different kind of mindset, and it's hard to please everyone. But when you cater to movies, they want something very simple. They want something very, very, very simple. And it could be simple but not simplistic. It could dress up in a simple form but have a lot of stuff in the other forms. Like, there will be 5 songs. So use your artistic creative in the other ones. And as for the Indian ones, which they want for people to drive to the theatre, we use the formulaic hooks and all that stuff. And I don't blame anybody and say that, oh, these guys made me do commercial music, because I have a choice of not doing anything. I can release my own album, and I'm working with Firdaus Orchestra in Dubai. I write music for them. Just so many other outlets to express my artistic. I've done a piece called Humanitas, which is based on a space mission of the East, and it's a 17-minute orchestral piece. It's still mixing that. So all these things are possible only because you can easily segregate things. And when you're doing for movies, it's different. So you'll never get those audiences if it's not for movies. Movies become your promotional tool, and it's your way to people's hearts straight away, because there's so much adulation for movies, and you're just a small part. And if I can fill the O2, it's because of these promotions and the way people consume this music. Yeah.
And of course, you're completely correct. Movies are very well loved, and you've captured the hearts of so many people here today, and many artists look up to you. Is there anyone who you would consider your biggest inspiration, whether that's in the professional sphere or in your personal life? Anyone that inspires you throughout your career?
In the early days, I think, if you take film music composers, John Williams and Morricone, I met all of them, luckily, and John Barry and Vangelis and Tandon. Then of course the greats, Mozart, Beethoven, Tchaikovsky, and it's endless actually, because each one has a character. But right now I think I'm always looking at younger people who are breaking grounds on TikTok because it takes a lot to attract and do something short, but something which is worthwhile looking at, and there's so much of hard work in that going on. So there's a girl called Shubha who's working with me now. Then there's a girl called Sneha who's working with me, and there's so many others who are going to work from Africa and from Europe and all this stuff. So that's really cool.
Nice. And your spirituality is also something that comes through a lot in your work. In your 20s, you converted to Islam and adopted Sufism. How do you think your faith impacts your everyday life, and what impact has that had on your professional career?
I think it's an interesting question. As a thinker, we kind of a rational thinker, and then you discover that there are many realms in life. One realm is what we see, one is what we don't see, and one is what we feel. And we all know about telepathy, we all know about serendipity, all these, how are these things possible? And this is the question which led me towards Sufism. How do you control your mind? If you control your mind, you're the biggest achiever, I feel. Because the mind is the master for your being, for your thoughts, for your body, for your actions. And for me, the greatest achievement that which Sufism actually taught me was to control that ish. And to lead the mind to manifest and go towards a place. I might succeed, I might not, but at least the journey of going towards that has been great. And then how do you derive the energy from the infinite? Because we're all like finite, we're all going to die. But how do you get that energy from the sublime, which is we surrender, because if you see every creation, it's got such complexity and it's got so many different things in it that you surrender and say that I don't have that, and I want that energy, the hidden energy from the universe, through me. And how do you tap that? That's what it taught me. And sometimes you're not in your purest form every time, and sometimes it comes, sometimes it doesn't come. So when people ask me, where's the tune? I said, it'll come. So it's not that every time you're going to sit, you're going to get something great. By instinctively that sometimes inspirations come, sometimes nothing's going to come. So might as well go for a walk in the park.
A lot of South Asians across the world see you as not only one of the most successful South Asian artists, but as someone who put South Asian music on the world map. Amongst all of your achievements, what has been the highlight or the greatest honor of your career?
Yes? I'm a school dropout, and I couldn't study more than +1 in my high school. So if you're coming to listen to me, it's a great achievement. That's worthwhile. And so I think I've learned so much from life, and I feel like whatever you are, you could be a Hindu, Muslim, Christian, or anything, atheist, whatever, but if you become the goodness of what you believe in, that's the biggest achievement. It's not the books or what preaching, what you got. Same to my kids, actually. I stopped telling my kids what to do. If I do something good, they're going to follow me. If I'm bad, They could say, I want to be like that. Bad. So this is one thing I've learned, that you set an example, even though it's very difficult. And you try to refine yourself. Nobody's perfect. In every action, you try to be honest to your conscience. And that's it. Yeah.
And equally, is there one kind of biggest challenge or difficulty that you face that stands out to you across your career?
The irony is, like, when you're immature, you have all the health and everything. The more mature you are, your body goes the other way around. And your health goes the other way around. I feel like the more your mind matures, your body has to come up to that level where you can exert yourself, you can work hard, I can, be a good, teacher or whatever. Yeah. That's irony.
We have a lot of students here today who are aspiring to go into the music industry, or even just that are students here to listen to you. And I wonder whether you might have some advice that you could share for our students.
I was about to ask them, actually. Yeah, everybody, not anyone needs any advice anymore, because we're all very smart now. They learn from other people's failures and successes, and each one has their own pluses, I would say. And the only thing is, you might have got this 1,000 times. Just lean into it, go deeper. And I failed, every day I fail like 10 times, 11 times before I achieve something, and nobody knows about it. That's a cool thing. You have to fail to get into something, so don't give up. And go lean onto it and believe in yourself. Yeah. Believe in yourself, believe in the thing which you're at. And you can be not as talented as other people, but you go deeper and deeper, deeper, you pick up stuff which nobody else can. And you'll be so good in that.
Thank you very much.